Here's a tutorial video on finding the unknown variable in equations. So I'm going to go through a few examples that will hopefully help you in your understanding of this type of math problem. So you're going to start easy. X plus 6 equals 8. And we would like to find for x. So what we really want is we want x by itself on one side, so we could say that x is equal to something. So what that means is that we should get rid of this 6. Once we get rid of the 6, x will be by itself. We get rid of the 6 by minusing it, because it's x plus 6. Because 6 is being added, we can minus it to get rid of it. And whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. So if you minus 6 from this side, we are left with x. If you minus 6 from the next side, we get 2. I'm just going to put the reasoning in the brackets that we have minus 6 from both sides. And you can go back and check it to see if that works. Number 2. If we had a situation like this, 2x minus 4 equals 10. The steps that I take must get me closer to finding x. So I don't like this 4 sharing the side with x, even though this is 2x, but moving this 4 or getting rid of this negative 4 is going to get me closer to finding x by itself, because we'll end up with 2x on this side alone. So right now we are minusing 4. So to get rid of this 4, we add 4, because minus 4 plus 4 is 0. So if we add 4 to both sides, we end up with 2x on this side, and 10 plus 4 is 14. What did we do? We added 4 to both sides. So once again, if we add 4 to the left side of this equation, minus 4 plus 4 is 0. 2x plus 0 is 2x. 10 plus 4 is 14. Right now, 2 is multiplying by x. 2 times x equals 14. To get rid of this 2, we divide by 2. Because 2 is being multiplied by x, we divide by it to get rid of it. So 2x divided by 2, the x will remain. And we have to divide the next side by 2 as well. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Therefore, x equals 7. What did we do? We divided both sides by 2. Next one. What about this situation? 6x equals 3x plus 15. 6x equals 3x plus 15. Now, because we want to find for x, I recommend that we move all our x terms. We only want x terms on one side of the equation. Remember, whatever steps you take must lead you closer to finding x by itself. So yes, only having x terms on one side of the equation would get me closer to finding x by itself. So how do we do that? We want to get rid of the 3x from here. Right now, 3x is being added to 15. To get rid of 3x, we minus 3x. So therefore, we can minus 3x from both sides. Remember, law of equation, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Think of it as a scale that we want to keep balanced. So to keep the scale balanced, whatever we minus from one side, we minus from the other. 6x minus 3x is 3x. And when we minus 3x from this side, if 15 remains. Three is multiplying by x to give us 15. Therefore, to get x by itself, we divide by 3. If we divide 3x by 3, the 3's cancel, x remains. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So we divide by 3 on both sides. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. So you divide it by 3 on both sides here to get x by itself. X equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5. What if they give us brackets? Like this. You cannot treat with this x term until you expand the brackets. The x is inside the brackets right now, and we cannot get rid of it, or we cannot move this -3 until we deal with what these brackets tell us to deal with. And when something is outside brackets, it means that you multiply by each term on the inside of the brackets. So your ideal first step in this situation is to expand the brackets. 2 multiplied by x is 2x. 2 multiplied by -3 is -6. 2 by x, 2x, 2 by -3, -6. 2 by 3, 6, and of course negative means negatives. So all I did here was expanded the brackets. (2x minus 6 equals 2). Remember, we want to get closer to finding x. Any step that brings us closer is a good step to take. So because I want x by itself on one side, I'm going to get rid of this -6. How do you get rid of -6? You add 6. 2x minus 6 plus 6, you get 2x by itself. And when I add 6 to the next side, I get 8. So I added 6 to both sides to get to this step. 2 multiplied by x equals 8. You all have seen a few of these already now. To get x by itself, you divide by 2 on both sides. 2x divided by 2 is x. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So you divide it by 2 on both sides. So generally when you see brackets, most of the time you're required to expand the brackets first of all. When you have situations where multiplication is happening, to multiply by something is something else. To get rid of the number in front of x, you divide. Whenever you want to get rid of something, generally speaking, you do whatever is the opposite operation to what it is presently doing. So 2 is currently multiplying by x. So to get rid of 2, you divide by it. If I were to fill in the gap between this step and that step, for instance, it will look like this. You divide by 2 on both sides to get the x by itself. So here you could clearly see how the 2 cancels and you're left with x. X equals 16 over 2, which is 8. So when you're minusing, you add. to get rid of it. When you're adding, you minus to get rid of. When you're adding, you minus to get rid of it. When you're multiplying, you divide to get rid of. I hope this tutorial helps you understand this topic a bit more. Of course, I always encourage you all to don't just depend on what I give you to do. You can take initiative and go on your own and find extra practice. I would correct whatever you give to me.